Hey everyone, how are you? Happy Tuesday. I don't know about you guys, but where I am, we're struggling with a snowstorm right now, so we're in like a super deep freeze, but I hope your Tuesday is going well. I'm just here live on Facebook and on Instagram, and I'm happy to see anyone and everyone who's here. Finally today, I'm talking about one of the things that makes parents the most crazy, and that's sibling rivalry. Does sibling rivalry not drive you up the wall? I bet it does. If you have more than one child, sibling rivalry is a foregone conclusion that you're going to face it. And it's something that has been written about since the beginning of time, right? So we know it's normal, but how the heck do we deal with it? I'm going to tell you all about that. And I do want to tell you that at the end of this recording, I'm going to talk to you more about my group and my membership group and the kinds of things and the kind of help that you can get if you're struggling in your parenting, if you're feeling like you're overwhelmed and you're tired of it. You're tired of feeling overwhelmed. You're tired of feeling like you're in a tug of war with your kids. Well, I am going to show you exactly what you can do to get some help. And I wanted to share something with you today that just came into my inbox. This is from one of my clients. She just happened to message me and say, hey, can we change our time? Oh, and by the way, she said, I wanted to thank you for changing my approach to my day-to-day as well as my husband's. I felt so much more in control of my emotions by simply listening to myself through the new belief that she has, which is I have what I need in me. That was her new belief. And she said that also today, one of her daughters was in the bath and she was downstairs getting a snack for her other daughter. And she was also grabbing something to eat for herself. And when her daughter started calling for her, her husband was the one that came and helped out. And normally, he doesn't necessarily do that. And so that's just from me working together with them. And she said that I thanked him, and there was, and I was in awe of his help. And, and she was super grateful for that. So that's the kind of thing, like if you're not on the same page as your spouse, I can help the two of you get on the same page and help you communicate with each other and understand each other and understand your kids together. I love working with couples because when you get everybody on the same page, there's so much harmony. When you're working together and not against each other, that really helps too. So with that said, I just wanted to share that because that was super exciting. And I don't like to share names and stuff like that because I think, like if you're struggling, you may not want other people to know. I always think that, look, you know what, we're all struggling, no harm in sharing it. But look, if that's private for you, I respect your privacy. Everything that I do is confidential and absolutely private and will not be shared. So just want to let you know that as well too. I may share some things, but I'll always hide your name. So let's talk about sibling rivalry. I know for an absolute fact that it is a huge trigger for many, many parents. And it's really hard because, of course, it's one baby attacking another baby or one baby upsetting another baby. And it's hard because you're kind of stuck in the middle. And how do you pick sides? Usually, don't you usually find that, I forget to put my microphone over. Don't you usually find that, maybe one child is always the one who is the instigator and you're always picking sides? Well, I'm going to show you how not to do that again, because if you're always picking the same child who's wrong and in the wrong, they're going to start to feel that there's something wrong with them, that if I'm always in trouble, that must mean I'm bad, right? If mommy's mad, it must mean that I've made her mad and that I'm bad. And we don't want our kids to feel that way, right? Because they're growing, they're learning, and they just don't have a skill yet to do something better or learn to work it out. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. And the big secret behind sibling rivalry is that actually it's rivalry for your attention. Maybe that comes as a surprise to you. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But it's rivalry for your attention. And so really what happens is that when another child is born into your family, your older child, right? Maybe you have multiple children, whatever it is, the older kids have an experience that is almost like this primal terror, because what they're looking at is a situation where you know, they are using their, they're thinking about things from a really primal perspective because their genes evolved in the Stone Age. So what they do is they have this terror that I now have to share my scarce resources with a rival, that everything used to be all about me, but now there's somebody else. So now my attention, my, you know, whatever they have provided for me is cut in half because the new kid is here, right? So already they're feeling a sense of lack when a new baby comes in, no matter how much we prepare them, right? They may not really understand, and they then will come from a place of thinking, well, if now I have to share resources with a rival, and how do I know for sure that my safety is going to be assured if, after all, those genes evolved in the Stone Age, if this metaphorical tiger jumps out of the woods, are my parents going to save me or the new kid? Chances are our kids are thinking, well, they're probably going to pick the new kid because he's so helpless, she's so helpless, right? So that really brings out anxiety. And as parents, we know, of course, the reason why we have more kids is because we love our first child so much, right? And we know there's more than enough love and affection and appreciation, maybe not so much attention, but we know that we have enough to add to our family, right? Or we wouldn't have done it. So we know that, but our kids' experience of this may not be so. And look, when we're looking at younger kids, you know, they may look at their older siblings as the ones who got to get here first. You know, you guys were in the family and have been in this family longer than me, and look at how much older you are. You're allowed to do things that I'm not allowed to do. And so they feel the lack as well. They feel the fear, and they feel that it's not equal. So the solution needs to be, and the solution always is, that your child needs to know in no uncertain terms that they are as loved, lovable, valuable, and appreciated as every other member in the family, and you could never love anyone more than you love them. And so how does that relate to when they're actually fighting? Well, what you have to do now is you have to look at it in a completely different way. If one kid hits the other kid and you go to the child that hit and you say, you don't hit, that's not nice, use gentle touches or whatever, go to your room, depending on what age they are, you know, you're going to react differently. Instead of focusing on the child that did the crime, right, we're going to go to the other child first, and we're going to say, oh boy, that looked like that hurt. You go to them first and you make sure they're okay. Then you talk to the child that did the crime. So that's sort of a hit, but I want to give you a better example than just that, because that wasn't so good. So what I want you to first do is I want you to look at the situation, and I want you to kind of take a step back from it. And these are your two kids. Okay, I'm going to go with a 2-kid scenario. Sometimes there's more, but 2 kids. And I don't want you to pick sides, but what I want you to do is say, okay, I'm just going to describe what I see happening here, and I'm not going to judge anyone, and I'm not here to punish anyone either. So the first thing you do is you look at the problem without judging it. Okay, so then you're going to invite your kids to talk about talk to each other and make sure that they're fully understood. So you may have to say, okay, did you hear your brother said this and your sister said this? Okay, I'm going to give you more of an example in a moment. So number 1 is describe the problem without judging it. Number 2 is get your kids talking to each other about it. Number 3 is to invite your kids to come up with a solution together. Number 4 is to get agreement from both those kids. And then number 5 is to help them understand the agreement and implement and refine if necessary. So Dr. Laura Markham is really good at this, and she has a book called Peaceful Parent, Happy Siblings, and I want to give her credit for this work, because she has really done some really good work with sibling rivalry and really helping parents to understand. So here is how it would all go down. So you've got 2 boys who are wrestling. Okay, and so what you need to do as a parent is you also need to be aware if you're not in the room, or if you are, be aware of what your kids are doing, so you are listening for cues if things start to get out of hand. Okay, so you've got to be tuned in too, right? You just have to be. So that's your job. Then you go and you're going to describe the problem without judging it. So you're going to say, Matthew is saying that he wants to wrestle. William is worried that he'll get hurt. That's the problem, right? Hey guys, look, Matthew, you're saying that you want to wrestle. William, you don't want to do it because you don't want to get hurt, right guys? Right. So then invite the kids to talk to each other. So William, tell your brother what you're feeling. So then William will say, I don't like it when you hold me down. I'm scared I won't be able to breathe. Okay. And then you'll say to Matthew, Matthew, did you hear what your brother said? He said he's worried that he won't be able to breathe if you guys wrestle, because maybe that's happened before. So then the next step is to invite kids to come up with a solution together. And the reason why this is so important is because when our kids are solving problems for themselves, they're much more likely to follow through with a solution that they helped to come up with, right? Doesn't it make so much more sense? So let's invite them to be problem solvers, right? And so, so you can say, you can have a conversation with the two of them, and then really just say, okay, so after you've had a talk, you've said, okay, you guys agree that you're going to wrestle, but nobody is going to touch faces. Okay, does that sound good? Nobody's going to touch this whole area so that everyone feels safe. And then really you want to just say, okay, so this is the agreement, this is what we're going to do. And then maybe there is a point at which you might need to refine the rules a little bit. Is there something that that isn't going right that maybe they agreed to but didn't fully really want to agree to? So that's where you help the kids understand the agreement and then refine if necessary. So let's say that you go and you say, okay, Matthew, William is saying stop, right? Because maybe William is getting hurt. And you say, it looks like we need to add one more rule. When someone says stop, both kids stop wrestling. How does that sound? Okay, so here what you've done, and can you see that you haven't picked sides, right? You haven't made one the winner and one the loser, one the bad guy and one the good guy. They know that they're both equally loved and you're both going to them and you're working through the problem, right? But you are there just to narrate what's going on. You're kind of like a moderator, you're kind of like a narrator, and you're just saying, okay, well, it sounds like this is happening. And William, tell your brother what you're feeling and needing, and Matthew, tell your brother what you're feeling and needing, right? That's all you ever want to do. So you want to follow those steps, describe the problem without judging it, invite the kids to talk to each other and help them to make sure they are understood, invite them to come up with a solution together because they're going to follow through on solutions that they come up with, get an agreement from both kids, right? Yes, this works, right? We're going to agree to this, and then refine if necessary, or reiterate the agreement again so that they understand, and then you can move forward. So the key is you're not choosing a side. The key is there's no winner and loser, but that you just show up being neutral. And I'll tell you, I wish I knew this when my kids were younger, because it would have helped me so much. I have two very, very different boys. They completely different. And so when they fight kind of nasty sometimes. So I wish I had known this before to get them talking to each other, because what you're doing is you're setting up the lines of communication between your kids for life, for lifetime, if you continue to do this, right? You're just only ever seeking to find out what's going on, and you're getting agreement, you're seeing how to move forward, and then go from there, right? So I know you may have questions about this, and I totally get that. So I'm actually going to put a link to a really cool PDF in this recording. So for Instagram, I'll get it in here. I'll post this along with my story, and then for Facebook, I'll put it in the comment section here, because I think it's really important that you have some tools to use as well, because this is really hard. It's different every time, and I want to set you up for success, because sibling rivalry Don't we want harmony in our homes? We do, right? So this is one way to get it. And I know this is a sore spot for a lot of parents. And a lot of parents are saying to me, like, I can't handle my kids fighting all the time. They're yelling at each other all the time. Someone's always upset, crying. And there is a way out of that. There is such a good way out of that that validates feelings, you know, helps our kids understand each other and promotes communication. Like, what better is that? To me, that sounds perfect. So I hope that makes sense. I'm going to give you that free resource as well that I absolutely love, and I really hope that's going to help you. Now, I do want to talk to you about that group. I literally have just a couple spots left at $32. And my group is $32 a month for the next couple people who get it. I know I said yesterday for sure you were guaranteed to get in at that. And there's just a couple left at $32 a month for life. You never have to pay more than that. Every month you get 3 calls with me. I do 2 Facebook Lives. I do 1 Zoom call where it's more interactive, where we're talking more, and you will, anytime you need help and support, be invited to ask questions about what you're going through, and I will answer your specific question. And you know what? It just helps to know that you're not alone, because I know there are so many of you who are feeling like, I don't know why this is so hard. I can't figure this out. Maybe you want so badly to peacefully parent your kids in a way that you weren't parented, but you just don't know how to do it, because, like, if I don't use punishments, then what the heck am I supposed to do? I'll show you all of that. And this isn't about your kids running the show and running your home. This is about you getting cooperation, you getting support, and you understanding your child's behavior so that you can get a different result, and so that you can respond to your kids instead of reacting. That's really the key too. And for you at any time to feel confident and in control of yourself and the situation that you're faced with. Doesn't that sound awesome? So you get those calls with me. You get a community in a private Facebook group that's just for members. You also get every month a brand new topic with a training from me where you will learn new tools and strategies in different areas of parenting, because there's so many different areas, right? But you are only ever days away from talking to me and getting your answer to your question at any time. And look, as our kids get older, the stakes get higher, don't they? And having somebody in your back pocket to be able to ask a question to is really great. It's like your secret weapon, if you will, your secret awesomeness. And I have an assistant whose name is Lindsay, and she's also a certified parent coach. So she's in there as well, helping with the group and answering questions. So you get 2 for 1, basically. And I just want to say that my objective is to over deliver. I am here to give you results. I am not happy if you don't get results. I am results focused and driven, and I will prove that to you in this group, because I want you to have the family you always dreamed of. I want you to be the parent you always knew that you would be. But parenting is really hard, and we get kind of derailed, don't we? Because things don't happen in a vacuum, and all of a sudden, you know, many things come into play, and we don't end up tuning into our kids and connecting with our kids, getting the cooperation we want with our kids like we thought we would. And that means we need some help. And nobody really tells us how to do this parenting thing, but we're expected to do it, and we're expected to live up to a standard that is, quite frankly, unreasonable and is not really attainable. So I want to help you get there. I want to help you feel confident, create the family you want that is unique to you in your situation. So I really hope you'll join me. It's kamomsclub.com. That's where you go to sign up. It's www.kamomsclub.com. I don't even think people say www anymore. Why did I just say it? I don't know. Anyway, the link will be in here. I'm going to put the PDF as well for you to find it. And hey, by the way, I have a podcast too called Parenting Our Future. So if you want to check that out, today's podcast, it's always released on a Tuesday, is all about school choice. And if the school that your child is in right now isn't really a fit for them, what can you do about it? What questions do you ask? How do you start the process? So check it out. I'm talking to a really cool guy named Andrew Campanella, who runs School Choice Week in the United States, and he's a wealth of information. And this information is great across the globe. It is all adaptable to wherever you are. So thank you for listening. Thank you for inviting me into your parenting. And I'm really excited to have you a part of my group as well. So with that said, I'm going to stall while I stop going live on Facebook, because that's always super fun to be awkward at the end. But bye for now, everybody. Thank you so much for being here.